If the money that you spend on marketing and it goes nowhere, it's a pointless exercise.
If we're not growing, you're not growing.
Hey guys, welcome to another podcast. Today we have a marketing genius with us. I reckon she's a marketing genius. I'm going to give you that credit, whether you like it or not.
Take it.
I think the ego will allow it, and that's okay, she's in marketing. But Melissa J. Scott, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, Jay.
From Divine Creative Agency. I was going to say marketing agency.
I've had that name for 27 years now.
Yep. So today I want to talk about getting a return on marketing. I want to talk about, should I do Google AdWords? Should I do Meta? What should I do with my spend? How can I think outside the box to spread the dollars? We always talk about how to get the best return out of whatever you spend in the business, right? And then also just thinking outside the box, maybe something you haven't thought about. We're going to touch on brand marketing, why that's important. And we're going to talk about a few cases that we've seen and experienced that we've seen out and about in my life and in your life. And yeah, so are you ready?
I'm always ready. I'm always on. Okay, cool. Where do you want me to start?
You know what? A deep, dark secret about you.
Talk about springing on me.
Yeah. You're more just a marketing person. You've been in bands, you've done some weird magic for us. Yeah. What does a stereotypical marketer look like?
Oh, actually we're lucky because we're creative, so we can be anything we want to be and get away with it and have been that way forever. But yeah, I don't think I'm stereotypical in the sense of I'm really into authenticity and being real and sharing everything about my life, and I think that's how business owners should approach their marketing as well. I specialise in personal branding, so that all makes sense.
So we'll get to that in a sec.
But that's what I think is important. So you asking me to share something that nobody knows about me?
Oh, share it. Please go away. Please do it. Yeah, share something.
I did a body sculpting competition when I was 51. Most people know that who know me because I shared it all over the place. I recently left my very safe, sturdy home in Sydney. I've been living here for 30 years with my kids, and I left and just moved up to the Gold Coast and been up there for 2 years. That's been fantastic. I did a 2-month solo woman trip around all through outback Queensland, 12,000 kilometres a couple of years ago, towing a caravan, and I manifested that. I got the caravan, the car, and I created content as a bit of a trade-off for that, and I wrote articles for Caravan World that paid for the fuel, so it was like a self-paid holiday while I was still working for my clients.
Oh, I love that.
I sing in a rock band.
People like being able to use, killing two birds with one stone.
Oh, 100%. I'm all for being well-resourced, and if you can find a way to make it work, and it worked for me, helped build my brand, and it helped the company. They sold a lot of caravans off the back of that content, and I got a holiday.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to just jump straight into it, right? So our theme for this year, or for the start of these podcasts in 2026, we're sitting here in January, and we will get this out early next week. We'll be just after Australia Day.
Yeah.
And the theme for this year is, being the start of the year, I'm going to go straight onto the woo. You told me about this, and I've been like, totally embracing this, which is a little bit odd for an accountant, right?
Yeah, it's
but the
cool.
year of the snake has just about finished, and for me there's been a lot of shredding. So like
shredding.
Yeah, thank you. Much better at maths than I was at English. But like letting go of things, and then next year from February it's the year of the horse. It's all about running forward.
And it's not just any old horse, it's a fire horse. Didn't even know there was a fire horse.
But this is I think like for 2026 a lot of people are feeling like we are so well and truly over COVID. It's a COVID even word we like to use anymore. It's what was that?
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people in business that they're really hopeful for 2026 being the year. So I want to gear people really up for that.
Yeah.
And what I want to talk about with marketing is a lot of people do marketing, a lot of people do sales, and actually what happens is a lot of people think that if I do a whole lot of marketing, it's going to solve all my problems. But if the money that you spend on marketing and it goes nowhere, it's a pointless exercise. So how does someone work out the marketing they're doing? What should they do?
What should they do? I love this question. Everyone is hoping that I'll go, okay, this is what you do, this is the hack, this is the platform, this is how you get it, this is the money spent. But it's super individual for everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone wants us to go out there straight away, pay for the magic advertising. If I need to spend this amount of money, then I'll make that amount of money. And it should be guaranteed. And it's not.
Oh, because you see like reels. If you go and do any sort of what I call doom scrolling, I reckon if you're in business and you've put in that keyword in Google, marketing or something to do with sales, you're going to get those reels. And people will even go as far as creating reels where they're in fake airplanes to look like they're really successful, but they're probably really done nothing in their lives.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of like talk and
fakeness to it.
Super fakeness, and this is so relevant to where we are at the moment because with AI, there's a huge push. Everything to do with marketing these days, business owners are only interested really in learning about, tell me about the latest AI. tell me what I can do, how can I be faster, how do I get on top of this? There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of people selling marketing strategies around AI and pitching them as being the way that you're going to get ahead and create all this content. AI will make it for you. You don't even need to appear in front of video anymore.
So do you think that like basically the core principles of marketing have been forgotten?
Yeah, which is connection.
I reckon that people, businesses, particularly marketers, have forgotten what the 4 Ps are. Let's talk about the core marketing and let's come back to that because I feel as though there is a foundations. I talk about foundations and cash flow. You know, you need to understand the foundations of running a business and particularly from a financial sense, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of businesses have forgotten. So if we then go thinking about marketing and the foundation of marketing, really from what I understand when I did my university degree and touched on this much of marketing was the 4 Ps. So let's talk about those foundations.
I'm going to be totally transparent. I had to look them up again because I couldn't even remember because I'm so brand focused. I'll just tell the truth. I'm really brand focused and very much about connection. So that's where I specialise. But if you're going to be technical, there's the 4 Ps and I looked them up. Product, price, place, promotion. But people these days just really want to focus on promotion. So they go to a platform, whatever it is, it'll be a social media platform, and they go all across it and they put everything into that and they talk like it's interruption marketing, like they're trying to just talk at people and trying to get their attention and ignoring what I think is the most basic core part of branding, which is connection and being relatable to your audience and being human.
But you can really then bring that into, if we talk about the 4 Ps, product. Is it a relatable product? Is my person, whoever I'm selling to, are they going to relate to that product? Do they want it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you've got to understand that product, you've got to understand then your market, right? Your people who are buying your stuff.
A lot of people don't know who their target audience is, so that is definitely with the product. Who is your target audience? And it's not anyone with a pulse. It's definitely somebody that actually has pain. We talk a lot about this. There's 3 degrees of pain. There's first level, mid and deep pain. Most people don't have a clue what deep pain their clients are in or what their potential clients are in. And one of the greatest ways to connect with your audience is to actually understand what keeps them awake at night. So with you, with what you do in accounting, what keeps your clients awake at night?
Afraid of how I'm going to that credit or that money owed to the ATO or staff super. One of the staff members are going to quit because they haven't paid their super. If you're in a really bad state financially, the creditors are going to start
There's even deeper level pain than that.
Fear and failure, right?
100% fear and failure. Who am I if I can't make
fear,
this business
failure,
work?
love. Because everyone wants to be loved, right? So no one wants to fail, so their fear of failing.
But it's that deep level pain, and I think a lot of people have forgotten the actual message when they're selling and promoting to their audience is actually how they're connecting with their audience in the sense of what does their audience even need? Because they're online, not to check you out, they're online to be either entertained or to get answers to their problems.
So I would then go one step further and suggest that maybe people who have got businesses, if they're failing at their marketing, right, it's basically they haven't done enough homework.
They've got no strategy.
Yeah.
I could guarantee you that is 100% why their Facebook ads or their Google ads or their lame reels or whatever it is that they're doing, that because they were told by somebody random that you've got to post 10 times a week or something on Instagram, why it's not connecting is because they have no clue.
Well, you're doing 10
strategy.
times of shit.
It's
It's just
pointless.
you're wasting your time, and no one's watching it, and all you're doing is making someone else money, and then
And you're following a formula that might work really great for the person who's teaching that formula, but is it even remotely relevant to your audience?
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's really good. You've really touched on it. Like just very little strategy, if any, is a big problem. If you've got no strategy, you don't understand the product that you're selling. You know where it's at. Forget the promotions, the fun, sexy stuff.
And that's what everyone wants to rush to.
Yeah.
It's so fun to make a reel.
But you just can't. You just can't jump to promotion. You just can't jump to the sales bit.
Yeah.
And if you then have a look at all your experience, those who have been quite successful and those maybe who haven't, whether they were a client of yours or not, what is that key difference? Is it what we were talking about there?
What is it that makes them succeed or
what
not
makes someone
succeed?
succeed? What's that perfect recipe? Is it because they've got the strategy, they know exactly what they're doing, and they've spent time doing their homework?
They have a deep connection to their audience. They understand what makes them tick. But there's another thing too. They are really in tune with their purpose in life and business, and they communicate and get that across.
Yep.
So people know, like, trust, particularly now that everything's online. You need to create trust, and no one's going to connect to you if they don't believe in you. And so if you don't believe in you, then how are they going to believe in you?
Yep.
So it's pretty deep.
So when I started today's podcast, it was talking about how what you're doing is tracking and getting that return. I'm very big on whatever expense you got in the business, it needs to serve a purpose and give a return back to the business, because we've got to have a helicopter view in our business and think from the top. Have this higher purpose of thinking that our business isn't just a job, it's actually an investment. We've invested our own time and maybe some of your own money, depending on how much money you've put in, into that business. So what I find is a lot of business owners, they don't look at it like going, if I just take myself out of where I'm at, put myself in the shoes of what a CEO would be, had a helicopter view, and then look at it and go, hey, would you do this, would you do that, and having that helicopter view. So really being very clear about whatever you're doing, everything that you do in a business must have a return. Give something back to the business. So if I go and spend $10 on buying, I don't know what you're going to buy for $10, but I want to get $15 back. But as well, if you then put money into marketing. So we talked about a lot of businesses, they love putting money into Google ads. And what is your professional opinion on that?
Oh, look, it's great if you really know who you're connecting to. And it's got to be a purchase under a certain price where people are prepared to pay that price online. So it's interesting. We were talking with your marketing assistant earlier, and she was lamenting about a story of one of her clients.
That's actually my wife.
I was trying to be super professional, Carly.
No, but I do treat her fully commercial.
Man, she's unreal. She's a legend at what she does. And she was talking about it with one of her other clients, engagement. It's engagement. And that's a great way of saying basically it's not a good return on your investment. We're just doing engagement. And you really need that return on your investment. Most small businesses can't afford to just engage and then not actually make sales at some point from that engagement. So obviously Google AdWords can work amazingly for some products, and I have had clients that do really great with them. I don't manage them because it's not my area of expertise. You must work with somebody who is absolutely expert at that. But even that's going through a massive transition, because with AI, when you need an answer to your questions now, do you go and Google it to get the answers, or do you actually go to AI now and get the answers? Or I often go to YouTube to get the answers. So you've got to really know where your audience is hanging out, and this is the placement of the 4 Ps. Where do they hang out? So you're actually connecting with them in the right way. A lot of businesses have a marketing budget and they're almost just relieved to spend it, and they've got a lazy approach to it. They're not tracking the figures, so they actually understand where they're getting the best bang for their buck. The other thing is, which I like to say is, the best bang for your buck is often putting your people at the forefront of your brand. You get something like an 8 times greater return on any kind of marketing that goes out from your people in your organization, including the CEO or the founder, like yourself, rather than if it was just a company branded message that was going out. So think about the return on investment you could get if you actually were investing into something like what you do really well and do successfully, is personalized kind of reels, your podcast, being interviewed, speaking events, where you're actually pitching yourself as the top of the person in your industry and you're promoting your business and your services that way as an expert.
But look, if I get back to Google AdWords and leads and that sort of stuff, like I look at it from an accounting point of view. It's what's the cost of that?
You've got to monitor it and track it.
I guess if you're selling a product once, I get that. It's like, how many people do you need to touch, or people need to search for you to then convert that lead into?
And that's what you.
I guess even after that, it's going, well, there's no strategy after they get that contact. So they sell that one product and there's nothing else. Because the golden part of your marketing email list. So it's names, email addresses, possibly phone number, because these are people that you can keep selling to. So then you take that.
You are in control of how they see your information.
If you then are going to use Google AdWords, and it depends on what the business is, right? You want, depending on what you're selling, whether it's maybe more of a product as opposed to a service, particularly if it's a product, you want to just not sell once. You want to be able to get that person, because really when you get that person through Google AdWords, that is the capital investment, right, of obtaining that client. That's your goodwill. But then you want to, and this is where I think the strategy goes wrong for a lot of these people, is that they don't have any strategy afterwards to go, how can I sell to you again and again? And then how can I sell to your friends? How can I sell to your family? The problem is that maybe Google AdWords is not so much of a problem,
it's just
but it's only a problem if you don't have a strategy behind it.
One piece of the pie. It's not all of the pie. I think that's the most important thing. And it can be so successful. I'll use an example. My printer ran out of ink the other day, so I needed to buy a printer cartridge. Now, I live up on the Gold Coast, but I have a contact down here in Sydney who I used to buy my cartridges off, and I got to know that person through the business because he did such good service, actually used to deliver to my house. So I have a personal relationship that's purely based on business with this person. So I actually went back to an old invoice, found him, went through his website, which is outstanding. That's another thing. The actual customer relationship, the customer experience with his website is outstanding. That's critical to making a good sale when it's such a consumable. That's why I'm using this example. And then the process went through and I bought it. So it was like a repeat sale because I had a memory of who the owner of the business was from years gone by and a past relationship. Say I didn't know anybody and I had to do that, I would go to Google it, come up. That's a great example. Google Ads would work and would be great. But then what you're saying, hopefully my name would go into that database and then I would be in an email nurturing system that would carry over years. Hopefully they make podcasts. Hopefully they actually talk to people. They could interview people. They might have social media presence and I could stay in touch and top of mind. They would be in top of my mind if they had some kind of marketing strategy, not just getting that one cold sale and then moving on to the next cold sale, which I think is what you were talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's where the strategy comes in place, is know what you sell. So that's a consumable product. No one gets excited about printer cartridges. But you can still, they could run a business podcast. This guy has an exceptionally good business and give great business advice if they wanted to. And a lot of people are missing that opportunity because they're too frightened to make video. That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. Okay, so then we're talking about returns. I guess if then, we're talking about 2026 being the year where things are going to start happening.
Yeah.
How do you take that right leap first?
Yeah.
What would be, I guess it really depends. I was going to say, what is the one thing, the best thing that any business could do to get their marketing?
Step backwards for a sec, do the helicopter view over your business, just like you would with your accounts or your financial advisor, and then have a look at what is working now. And you know what, one thing that people completely ignore and forget is about their existing database. Reconnecting with their old database, reconnecting with clients that might have left you in the past.
So true.
So true.
Yeah.
You would see this all the time. You're advising clients
Because
all the time.
Here's the thing, right? If a client leaves you, it's this whole thing, they've done a breakup. And then they might have gone somewhere else and they might have had a very good experience, maybe better. They might have had a worse experience. But if you get in touch with that person who had a worse experience, be like, and if you obviously like the client too, and they're a great client, hey, how did it work with that accountant? Just a year later. But
Sometimes
back
people
once
just-
again, that's a strategy. You could automate that as well.
100%, and it's something that people don't do. It costs 7 times more to do business with a new client than to just keep an existing client or go back to old clients.
Yeah.
And often all it is, people just forgot about you because you're not marketing and they just went to they've been watching somebody else's YouTube clips, they've been seeing somebody else's reels, and they just tried them out because you aren't doing it and they forgot who.
Now, you know what, this is a great segue then. I think it's really funny is that you've said that, hey, you've got to go back, look at what the return you're getting and all this sort of stuff. But this is the thing I think what a lot of business owners do. They go, hey, I've got a problem and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell more, do a whole lot of marketing, and that's going to solve my problems. And I'm going to ignore all financial responsibility. I'm not going to get to know my numbers. But you just said, even you're doing your marketing, you still need to know your numbers.
Yeah.
But part of it is, but then also knowing what worked, what didn't. You need to track. It's all financial data.
There's a beautiful formula out there where it's like you only have to make one little tweak in all the different little areas of the marketing component, which is all about the customer. Like when you first get a customer inquiry, how did it come? Where did it come from? The 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
So say you actually discover that you get most of your client inquiries from when you speak in public, speak out there in the community. You actually get a higher amount. Like you've got to look at where do you get most of your contact leads from? Maybe you get it from 3 or 4 different clients. Great strategic alliances. I'm such a huge fan of strategic alliances. It's old school, but it's actually people in your network who are wonderful referrers. Look at where you're getting most of the leads and the 80-20 rule. Do 80% of the returns off 20% of what you're doing.
Yep.
Do more of the 20%. So look at that. Then you can go look at when you're doing the actual, the client, how do you bring one on board? What's the experience like when they meet you and you actually like conducting yourself? Can you make that process better, faster, sexier, more exciting? Then what's the process once they become a customer? Are they in a nurturing sequence? Do you just do work with them and then forget about them? Imagine if you just worked with a client, did their books for them once a year or something, and then they didn't hear from you ever again. Are they going to come back in a year's time? They'll probably go to the person that they've been following on YouTube.
Well, yeah,
it's exciting.
It's funny you say that. When we talk about bookkeepers, I see this every now and then.
Yeah.
You go into a client's zero file, we don't do the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
And like one client just looked at recently.
Yeah.
Nothing has been reconciled since October. Here we are in January, and I want to do some planning for this client and do some deep analysis to work out how he can be more profitable, and I can't because there's no data for me to go off and to compare and see what's going on. Now, I'm not going to go and sort through all that because that's not my job and I don't want to tread on the bookkeeper's toes, but when we talk about, hey, like this bookkeeper should be there in there every week managing this process.
And it's just being top of mind. So you create awesome content, giving people, some people can't afford it. Maybe that's why the bookkeeper, using your example, maybe they just can't afford to have that person in there all the time. It would be helpful, but they can't. In the meanwhile, they could be following someone like you, and half the time you don't even know it because these people, we look at numbers, and I want to make this point too. Somebody could be like, oh, I put out that email newsletter, only 100 people opened it, clicked on it and read it. That's 100 people, human beings. If they all converted into clients or came back to you as clients, they're good numbers.
Yeah.
Remember that numbers are people.
Yeah, I think as well, we talk about when we bring other professionals in, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's about going, well, what part of that service can I at least manage to afford based on where the business is at today? You've got to go back and go, what can I afford? Is it going to get that return? Once we talked about that a few times.
Yeah.
I think the other thing as well for us as an accounting practice, as an accounting firm, and even we do a lot of business optimization, helping clients actually formulate we show them the roadmap. We take everything that's in their head, we get it out to actually help them create a better business that serves just not their own personal life, but also the business, and helps them, the business become worth a lot more down the track, especially when they go to exit. But one thing I think I've learned that's so important for the businesses we attract the $1 to $5 million clients, and they ignore this all the time. I don't have time to do marketing. Best thing I've ever done, and you told me about this, was getting an assistant to do it. So I've had a few assistants over the years, and they've moved on for various reasons, and sometimes it didn't work out, or they've been great for time and a season type thing.
Yeah, different stages of your business
exactly.
and what you've needed.
But I hear this so often, I don't have time to do the marketing. You know what? You shouldn't be doing the marketing as the leader of your business. You should have someone there to do it. And it doesn't have to cost a fortune, does it?
It doesn't have to. There's ways to get around it. I'm huge on creating one big piece of hero content, whether you do it a week or a fortnight or a month. And then there's so many ways that when you have a marketing assistant that they can slice and dice that and create lots of, this is a good example. We'll sit down, we'll talk for half an hour, 40 minutes, however long we can chit chat for. Then that long piece of content goes up on YouTube. You can slice and dice that into smaller pieces of content. We can take out quotes of what we said. We can take out images of what it is and put it to relevant topics. We cover so many things. Your assistant can then go and do a little bit of research and create posts around that. It goes out as a podcast, so it's the audio and it's the video as well. It goes on all the different platforms. There's so many ways, and really all it's taken of your time is 1 hour tops. And your assistant might spend up to 8 hours, but you get so many pieces of content for that and bang for your buck. And the beauty of what I love about these type of conversations is that you're showing people behind the scenes, and that's what people want to see these days. AI is making everybody even. Anyone's going to be able to put out content soon, but it's the people that are putting out real content where they're sharing real stories, real case studies, real experiences and expertise, and having a go, having a laugh.
And we're going to start looking through those who are hiring the fake planes and stuff like that.
Oh, 100%. Like
the fake Ferraris for the day.
The new black is going to be real.
Yeah.
Who's real?
Well, I think that's some really good information for anyone who wants to leap into 2026, get on their horse and bolt away.
Go above your business, look deep into it, and look at the strategy of what you're doing before you get super excited and just pick up on the latest, greatest trend. Just try and tune out from all those stupid reels that you see about promising 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures if you just follow this formula. It's never, ever that
And the
easy.
problem with those is they come with this big promise from their fake backgrounds, and then you fail because you didn't have any strategy behind it. And then you lose faith and you just give up.
And the best type of content is still organic content, what we're doing today. It's great. If you've got a promotion or something, then go for it. Throw money at Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever type of ads. I think there's going to be, ChatGPT has just announced there's going to be ads as well. They're going to do that. Maybe be at the front of that, not at the back end, but you cannot beat connection. You can't beat strategic alliances. And you can't beat tapping in. If you have got an existing business, tap into who your old customers are and bring back people that have stopped working with you, because chances are they've just forgot about you because you've been silent.
I think really the marketing it's the chair philosophy. There's 4 legs on a chair.
Yeah.
Now, you take one of those legs away,
Yeah.
it's going to be a bit wobbly and fall over. So
Yeah.
I think it's that consistency between those core mechanisms of marketing. Mel, it's been amazing having you on board here today.
Yes.
Mel, if anyone wants to find you, get on that horse and bolt away and get their marketing and get a good strategy happening,
Yeah.
where do they find you?
Yeah.
Are you in the yellow pages?
I am old enough. Totally used to design heaps of yellow pages back in the day. And I think that's probably, I love obviously what I do. I am that old. I was only showing my partner my first original business cards and they didn't even have a website on them because there were no websites. So I've come back from that era. But that's when we had to be really thrifty and clever.
She's looking pretty good for 82, isn't she?
Exactly. But that's another thing I want to say, if I can say it as respectfully as possible. Really look at the experience of the person that you're trusting your marketing with. Have they been around for a while and tried a whole lot of different things? Because it's not about just having a pretty curated Instagram feed. That is not the only way to grow your business. There are plenty of tried and tested ways to do it, and they can be quite resourceful and they've been around for a long time.
That's it.
So the way to get in touch with me is just go to my website, melissajscott.com, and you'll find plenty of ways to get in touch with me. I'm on all of the platforms. I'm pretty nutty, I'm pretty real, and I share a whole lot of my story. And if you want to be inspired and encouraged and get a whole lot of free content as well, it's all out there. And I'm just about to release my podcast as well, which you're going to be
What a cheeky little... that's for me. It's okay. It's great. No, but thank you so much for
Can I
getting
say
on
the name
board.
of my podcast?
Yeah, please do.
The Worthy Human Project. It's because a lot of the reasons why people don't feel like they can market themselves, it's around their self-worth. They don't think people want to hear what they have to say.
And I think that, I know I'm trying to wrap up here, but like the psychology is so important because this is what makes and breaks us.
100%. It is. If you don't have self-belief, you're not going to put out authentic, real content. You're going to try
That's
and
right.
hide behind the AI videos and everything, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't work as good.
Yeah. Mel, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And it's been a
you're
pleasure
welcome.
having you on here. And I think there's been some absolute gold here.
I hope so.
And I can't wait for our viewers to reach out and speak to you. And yeah, it's all about getting on the horse this year. Let's do it.
is. The fire horse.
Fire horse, I love it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.